From a 501 area code. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Sam, this is Blake. I'm from Searcy, Arkansas. How you doing?
Hello, Blake. What's on your mind?
Well, I wanted to investigate what you guys were talking about with the children at the border a little bit more. Do you all there in the studio agree that that illegals should be turned away at the border or sent back at the very least?
Do I think that, I don't know what you mean by illegals. Do I think that people who are undocumented, if they're seeking asylum, my first response would be no, they should have the right, and they do under U.S. law, to go through an asylum process where we determine whether or not their claims are valid. I would expand the claims, particularly from where they are as of today, that would be valid. For those people who are entering into this country without documentation, it is a civil crime, and should they be deported? I mean, personally, I think that we have plenty of space for new immigrants. I do think that we could be doing more to get less push going rather than a pull, so that people who are coming here aren't just coming here because they're trying to escape some horrid conditions, but they actually have interest in coming. But continue.
So they are undocumented. You'll allow that at the very least?
Well, they're undocumented. If they're coming in and they're going across the border without documentation, they're undocumented. But if they're walking up to the border and they're saying, I'm seeking asylum, then that term undocumented means nothing, because we have a process of asylum seekers here. The idea of like a Russian athlete, a Soviet athlete coming here in 1982 and saying, I'm a hockey player, but I want political asylum here, and us going, well, you're undocumented. As soon as you say that, we're going to kick you out of the country, is absurd. And it's really the same dynamic.
Well, okay. So do you believe that these people that come across, since they are undocumented, regardless of what documents they may or may not have, that it's probably pretty hard to verify that those children are theirs, particularly if they're teenage children?
Are you asking me if we can believe that these children belong to these people who are coming? I would say common sense says, of course. Is it possible? Okay. Is it possible this guy's an uncle and this is my nephew or this is my niece because his parents or her parents have died and I'm their legal guardian? Yes, I suppose. But the idea that these kids are just randomly paired up with these people, I would find that very, very hard to believe.
Could I give my own answer to the question?
Are you aware that the cartel controls about 80% of the illegal immigration across the southern border?
Okay.
Now, giving that, or even a range therein, would you allow that, probably some of these people aren't exactly telling the truth?
I would imagine that, yes, if you collect any number of people in any circumstance, whether they're a caller to this program or whether they're going to buy a car or sell a car or whether they're showing up at the border seeking asylum, that yes, there are certain people who will be telling lies and not truth. In fact, if you just put presidents in a room, I think you'll find people who are telling lies.
Their ancestors.
So if you have a mixed group of people that may or may not be telling the truth, with accompanied or unaccompanied minors coming across the southern border, which at this point happens to be a crime.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Define crime for me.
What's that?
Define what you mean by crime, because that is a
proper procedure to come into this country.
When you come into this country for the first time without documentation, it is a civil violation.
Right. A crime, right?
No, I don't know that you call that a crime. I don't know. Is it a crime to get a speeding ticket? Have you committed a crime?
You go to court. You pay a fine. It goes on your record.
Speeding ticket's a crime. Okay. It's a pretty broad definition of crime, but okay.
But even if all these
have you ever sped before? Have you ever sped before? Have you ever gotten a speeding ticket?
What's that?
Have you ever gotten a speeding ticket?
Have I?
Yeah.
Are you talking to me, Sam?
Yes, you, sir. Have you ever gotten a speeding ticket? So you're a criminal.
Yes.
You're a criminal. All right, I just want you to know. I'm going to just take what you're saying.
As far as the civil,
you're a criminal. Yeah. You're a criminal. You're a criminal. Okay. So tell me more about what's coming from the criminal mind.
I'll finish my thought.
Okay.
So even if all these children belong to the people who say they do,
yeah, even if they do, yeah.
Regardless of the age, I've been told, I've seen reporting of that this is a lot of teenagers.
Okay,
so if they come and they're housed with their families, how do you segregate a family or children from other adults who you obviously don't know the identity of, where they came from, why they're here?
Well, this is what you could do. I mean, if you're suggesting that it would be really difficult to intern these people and keep these families together, this is what you can do. It's exactly what was done up until about 2 months ago, is you can put ankle bracelets on these folks and say, do you have a place to stay? Yes, I do. It's with my cousins who've been living in this country. That's been done. There are multiple.
How many resources or oversight is there to track maybe?
What do you think of an ankle? What do you think of
immigrants coming across the border in a year?
Excuse me, 1.5 million immigrants coming across the border. If you have the ability to house them in pens, are you telling me you don't have the ability to put electronic bracelets on them?
It would be a holding position. They don't
a holding position? What are you talking about? Holding position? How long?
On the border.
How long?
Apparently, it's 6 weeks now.
Is it 6 weeks? I think it's even longer.
To find out where they belong, where they're from, who they are.
Yeah, whether or not their asylum claims are legit, there's a court process for that.
Right. So going back to what I said, at the very least of all my points, what do you do with the children? Do you house them with the family?
I just told you. You let the families go. If you want to, excuse me, you let the families go. You put a bracelet on them so that you can track them and make sure that they come back for their court proceedings.
And they cut it off, and you never see them again.
What, is that what happens with electronic bracelets? Are there a lot of people who cut those off?
That's the same scenario that everybody was up in arms about the 1,500 lost children. They were given to family members, and the family members quit contacting the authorities.
It's a different situation. They were not obligated to keep in charge of those kids. It was misreported.
Why was it brought up as a big deal?
It was misreported.
Okay.
Right.
So is there a chance that all this is misreported as well?
Here's the thing. From the criminal mind, like yours, right? I mean, you've admitted to committing crimes. I don't know what other crimes you've
some that I haven't admitted, but go ahead.
I bet. Do you take drugs? Have you ever taken drugs?
No, sir.
You've never.
No.
You drink before you were legal?
When I was 18, yes.
I see.
One time.
I see. Crime. Arch criminal. The speeding. The criminal stuff. Look, we didn't have to create concentration camps for people 2 months ago for children, so there's no reason to believe that we need to do it now, right? I'm trying to reduce this down to where
it depends on if it was effective before, was it?
Well, we had a net negative immigration, a net negative immigration across the border.
Okay, as if we could keep track of that.
Well, wait a second.
Like we kind of literally do.
So you're telling me 1.5 million? Wait a second. 1.5 million people come across the border, but somehow we can't keep track of it. So what is it? Is it 1.5 million or we can't keep track of it?
You can't keep track of the inflow and the outflow accurately.
Oh, we can just keep track of the inflow. Is that it?
I would assume so.
Well, what do you mean you assume so? You just gave me the number and then you told me we can't keep track of it.
Sam, how many times are you going to switch the goalposts here?
I'm just asking you. Question? I just told you we had net negative immigration. You can Google it and look it up. But you told me there's no way to keep track of that right after you told me how many are coming in. According to the U.S. government.
The government that you hate?
Oh, my God. listen.
And you don't believe in the liar in chief?
So wait a second. So do you not believe in the liar in chief? Or do you hate the U.S. government?
No.
Do you hate the U.S. government?
No.
Then why won't you accept their numbers when they say it's net negative?
I don't think anybody has an accurate idea of anything that happens.
Got to figure out what the hell's going on.
Right. Nobody has an accurate idea of anything that's going on, except for you believe that, and then you call to espouse some opinion which is based upon that you have no idea about.
I have no idea about what.
Anything besides committing crimes, sir.
I think he's proven that he has the
criminal element.
Dude, can I blow your mind for a second?
You are not equipped to talk about this.
You failed, dude.
You failed. There's nothing more to say here. And you don't even understand that you failed. Like your argument is hinging on a conspiracy.
Were you talking about what situation?
With the children that you guys keep talking about.
Right. And so you're in favor of locking up children in these prisons.
Separating them from people that you can't verify that are their parents.
So wait, your argument is, so let me just see if I get this clearly. The reason why you think that these children should be separated from their parents is that you do not believe the claim of parenthood.
Should you, if they're undocumented?
No, just to answer my question. Not with a question, answer it. I just want to get this straight so that we can bullet point this for people. So when people say, how is it that people justify separating children from their parents? And the answer can be, well, this guy doesn't believe that they are actually their parents. He thinks this is some type of ruse. How do you think human
trafficking happens?
Whose kids do you think they belong to?
How do you think human trafficking happens?
I know how human trafficking happens. Whose kid do you think this?
Whose kid? Who? And listen, I'm sure. And have a couple years where you're.
So you are suggesting. Let me just get this. Let me get this correct. And frankly, a lot of them do have identification, but you don't care about that. So your assumption is that these kids should be separated because they're being they're human traffic victims. Is that it?
Some of them are, sure.
How many?
Who's to say?
You just said you're making an assertion. So stand up like a man. Stand up like a man. Stand up like a man.
With children being separated from their children while the parents are in process.
Is the mic working? Listen to me. Listen.
To keep everybody
stand up like a man. Stand up like a man. And tell me. Hold on. Stand up like a man. I'm going to hang up on you. Stand up like a man. You stand up like a man. You tell me how many. You're saying you're protecting these kids. You tell me how many of these kids are being human trafficked. Tell me right now.
Do you know?
You are making the assertion that any of them are. No, I can't say it's zero. You're making the assertion. Okay. I'm saying that the vast majority of these kids are who they say they are. I
never said vast majority.
All right. So your plan is we're going to separate these kids, despite the fact that everything we know about these kids coming from people are that they are suffering there. You're going to decide in your mind to justify it, that they are actually being human trafficked. I got news for you. You're a piece of garbage.
Well, the reason I asked
You're a criminal piece of garbage. You're a criminal piece of garbage.
Can I blow your mind for a second?
No, you can't. I just hung up.
This guy doesn't. I love he knows for a fact that they cut off ankle bracelets, but does not know the number. Get the fuck out of here.
I was going to tell him my answer to the first question is no. I don't believe that immigrants should be turned away at the border. I want to abolish the fucking state. So maybe you should listen to reasonable folks like Sam before people like me come along and just
he's a scumbag. Borders. There's no reason here. This is a sadistic scumbag who's making up reasons, who doesn't even have the fortitude to stand up and say, like, look, I don't care about these kids. You're gonna make up some fake bullshit that I'm protecting kids from being human trafficked because these aren't really their parents. There's 2,000 people who are coming across with their kids and they're pretending that these are their kids because why wouldn't they?
He just wants to help the children.
It's just, what kind of fucking moron do you listen to? Oh, I know what kind of fucking moron you listen to. Let's play this fucking moron.
And I would also say one other thing. These child actors weeping and crying on all the other networks 24/7 right now. Do not fall for it, Mr. President. I get very nervous about the president getting his news from TV because I also have an Adios America.
I don't know if I don't.
A New Yorker
I don't know
article.
if that's...
New Yorker is not a conservative publication. They describe.
So I told you we wouldn't get a word in. I told you.
These kids are being.
I'm so sorry. We have to go.
They're given scripts to read by liberals, according to the New Yorker. Don't fall for the actor children.
There you go. Maybe they're all actors. These children. This is just a big casting call. What a coward. What an incredible coward you have to be to call in and tell me that this is about protecting kids from child traffickers. You got to be kidding me.
No.
You got to be kidding me.
No. I mean, okay, I forget who said this, but every border implies the violence of maintaining it. It does. But in addition to that, there are matters of degrees. And I think we can all acknowledge that what's happening now is far worse than what was happening before. But like, this is something that is a problem with the concept of the state in the first place. And long-term horizon, like there's a reason why leftists have issues with borders and the state to begin with. I don't want to put tracking bracelets on people. I think people have a right to flow wherever they want to. So,
listen. I would expand legal immigration significantly. We can certainly absorb these folks, but there is a big gulf between that and having to, do this to children.
Oh, certainly,
I want to deport that guy.
Exactly.
That's what I want. I think people are not focusing on the major takeaway from that call.
We need to,
which is deport that guy.
ICE can only stay if it's enforcing crimes against immigrants.
Yeah, that's right. I would actually totally. That's the type of third way public-private initiative that I'll implement when I'm president.